Dear Santa, please send me a dad. That was the only thing little Lily wanted for Christmas. Her letter, scribbled with a trembling hand, ended up on the desk of a lonely billionaire, and what happened next will melt your heart. On a snowy December morning, the small town glistened with Christmas decorations. But for a little girl named Lily, the twinkling lights only highlighted her loneliness. Sitting by the window, she watched other kids play with their dads, a painful reminder of what she didn't have. Her mother had passed away earlier that year, leaving her in the care of her elderly grandmother. The festive season felt empty without the warmth of a full family. Determined to change her fate, Lily decided to write a heartfelt letter to Santa Claus. With slow, careful strokes, she wrote down her deepest wish. "Dear Santa, please send me a dad." She explained that more than anything, she wanted someone to love her, protect her, and make their small house feel like a real home again. She drew a tiny heart next to her name, placed the letter in a red envelope, and walked through the falling snow to the local postbox, dropping her wish inside with all the hope her little heart could muster. Miles away, in a sprawling empty mansion, a billionaire named James Carter sat alone. He was a titan of business, a man who had everything except happiness. The death of his wife 2 years prior had left a void that no amount of success could fill. He worked constantly, using long hours to escape the silence of his home. He'd often see families laughing together and feel a pang of longing, a connection he thought he'd never have. One morning, his assistant brought in a mountain of holiday mail. Mixed in with business contracts and fancy invitations was a single red envelope, addressed in a child's handwriting, to Santa. It had been placed on his desk by mistake, but it immediately caught his eye. Curiosity piqued. James opened it. He read Lily's simple, powerful words, and each one struck a chord deep within his lonely heart. He felt the innocence, the pain, and the desperate hope behind her request. It moved him in a way nothing had in years. He immediately asked his assistant to find a little girl who wrote the letter. With the help of a local charity organization, they located Lily and her grandmother. James decided he had to meet them, but he wanted to do it quietly, without any fanfare. He drove himself to the small town, leaving his world of luxury behind. When he arrived at Lily's modest home, her grandmother welcomed the kind stranger politely. Lily, shy but curious, peeked out from behind the couch. James knelt down to her level, introducing himself gently. He explained that he'd read her letter to Santa, by mistake. Lily's cheeks flushed with embarrassment, but James quickly assured her, "It was the most beautiful letter I've ever read. It touched my heart." Lily's eyes widened. "Can Santa see my letter too?" she asked. James smiled warmly. "Yes, I'm sure he sees everything." That first day, James spent hours with them. He listened as Lily talked about her dreams of becoming an artist and her love for Christmas stories. She proudly showed him her little art book, filled with colorful drawings. He was deeply moved by her spirit. Later, he took them out for hot chocolate, and for the first time in weeks, Lily's laughter filled the air. The townspeople noticed the kind stranger spending time with the little girl, a gentle warmth radiating from their small group. Back at her house, he helped decorate their small tree and even fixed a string of broken Christmas lights. Lily started to feel safe and happy around him. "Do you have any kids?" she asked innocently. James paused, a flicker of sadness in his eyes before replying softly, "Not yet." Lily's grandmother watched them, her heart swelling with gratitude. She saw the genuine sincerity in his eyes and thanked him for bringing a spark of joy back into her granddaughter's life. James returned to his empty mansion that night, but his thoughts were filled with Lily and her grandmother. A strange, unfamiliar warmth had settled in his chest. He realized he wanted to do more than just visit. He started by sending anonymous gifts, warm winter clothes for Lily and food hampers for her grandmother. He couldn't stay away for long and soon returned to spend Christmas Eve with them. Together, they baked cookies, filling the small kitchen with the sweet smell of gingerbread. That evening, Lily wrote a new letter to Santa. This time she wrote, "Thank you for sending someone kind." James secretly read it later, his eyes welling up with tears. He took them to the town's Christmas festival, where Lily held his hand tightly the entire time. To help her see the parade, he lifted her onto his shoulders. As she marveled at the bright lights, she looked down at him and said, "You act like a dad." The simple words almost broke him. His kindness didn't stop there. James quietly arranged for their old faulty heater to be repaired and had groceries delivered. For Christmas, Lily received a brand new drawing kit, which she was certain Santa had brought just for her. He took her to a Christmas charity event, where he watched with pride as she donated some of her old toys to other children. Later, at the mall, they took a photo with Santa. As Lily sat on Santa's lap, she leaned in and whispered her wish. "I want a dad just like him." James, standing nearby, overheard and was left speechless. A wave of emotion washing over him. On Christmas morning, James arrived early with gifts. Lily ran to him, wrapping her arms around him in a tight hug. She opened her presents with pure excitement, a warm red coat and a huge set of professional art supplies. Her first creation was a drawing of the three of them, herself, her grandmother, and James, all smiling together. James was so touched he had it framed immediately. Her grandmother invited him to stay for Christmas lunch, and he happily accepted. As they ate together, laughing and sharing stories, it felt like they were a real family. James looked at Lily's beaming face and realized he never wanted to leave. This was the connection, the warmth he had been missing for so long. He took a deep breath and asked the grandmother if he could officially be a part of Lily's life. She smiled, her eyes filled with tears of joy. "She already loves you," she said. At that moment, Lily ran over for another hug. James finally understood his purpose. He began the legal process to become her guardian. When he told Lily, her eyes lit up. "Do I get to call you Dad?" she asked, her voice full of hope. James's own voice was thick with emotion as he replied, "Only if you want to." She didn't hesitate. "Dad!" she shouted, hugging him tighter than ever. Their new life had begun. James bought a cozy cottage in the town so they could all be together. Lily finally had her own art corner, and James proudly displayed her drawings all over their new home. One day, she started calling it our home, and James's heart was full. He had become the loving father she had prayed for, and she had filled the void in his life with laughter and joy. Lily wrote one last letter to Santa that year. It simply said, "Thank you for answering my prayer." James read it, his heart overflowing. Christmas hadn't just brought Lily a dad. It had given him a daughter and the family he had always wanted. That evening, as they watched movies together, Lily fell asleep on his shoulder. He whispered, "I'll always protect you," as her grandmother wiped away a happy tear. Outside, snow fell gently, blanketing the world in white, while inside their home glowed with the light of a miracle. A little girl's letter had changed everything, proving that kindness can rewrite destinies and that love often arrives when we need it most. If this story touched your heart, please give this video a like. Share it with someone who needs a little hope. And don't forget to comment and subscribe to our channel for more emotional stories. Thanks for watching.